You're watching Ticket TV. Like, share, and subscribe on your way in. All right, y'all. Salute everybody. Tapped on in. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate all y'all. Let me get on in here, man. I'm gonna switch over real quick. I got some important news for y'all tonight. Hold on a second, you guys. All right, can y'all hear me? I think y'all should be able to hear me. Hopefully. Let me see. Um, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me, man. I got some news to break to y'all tonight, man. And this is the reason why I tell everybody. This is the reason why I tell everybody. I never count anybody out. When I'm looking at suspects, I never count anybody out. When I'm looking at an investigation, I never count anybody out. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This might turn the entire case. This might turn the entire case. I'm gonna ask everybody a question, and I don't want to put this on anybody, but I'm gonna say this. When beef happens or when something happens between people, right? Between guys, normally what is it about? All right. I'm just gonna let y'all guess that in your mind while I put this up on the screen. Just give me 1 second. All right. And again, I don't want to cast any aspersions on this person we're going to talk about tonight, but everybody has been ignoring this, and you're going to pay attention to this tonight. This attention to tonight, because I found something. I want justice for Nolan Wells and whatever happened to him, the truth to come out. And I told you guys, I told everybody on this channel, I don't believe that those boys did it. I don't believe that Bart had anything to do with it. I don't believe that any of those boys had nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all something right now. I think everybody's been following the wrong trail, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. And I'm not saying that this person that I'm going to tell y'all did it. I'm just saying that everybody needs to be looked at with a fine-tooth comb and questioned. And I have a question. I saw a questionnaire. Let me start off by saying this. I saw a questionnaire. Matter of fact, let me put it up on this channel, on the screen. I want to show y'all so everybody can see what I'm talking about. I want to show y'all something. See, I don't miss. And I didn't miss this. Let's get to it. Let me remove that. Now, what you are watching is Nancy Grace's community post. 23 hours ago, Nancy Grace put something in her community post. And I thought about it all day long. And then I fell on something. Just listening to everything. Nancy Grace put this question on her screen. Would you love to see Nancy? Who would you love to see Nancy Grace interview about the Nolan Wells death investigation? Nancy Grace had 4 answers. Nolan Wells' family, Nolan Wells' friends, the investigators, or Katie. I thought about this. Nolan Wells' family have been doing press conferences. They've been in the media. Nolan Wells' friends have been doing interviews, whether they've been doing them with who or not. The only 2 other people who haven't been doing interviews, the investigators, we understand that because they're not supposed to do interviews about it. But Katie. If Katie was so forthcoming, if she was so... Has Katie done any interviews? Has Katie been asked any questions? I'm not here to say Katie is guilty of anything because I was not there. I will not cast aspersions upon that woman. But something happened and I found it. And it was this. It comes all back. Somebody asked me the other day, why is this guy so important on your screen? Tatum. I'm going to tell you why. In this interview with Chris Cuomo, Tatum just did the other day, Tatum revealed something. And I caught it. Tatum revealed something, and I caught it. I don't think the boys had anything to do with it. None of them. I think everybody was 1,000% wrong. 1,000%. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Because if what Tatum said in this interview and what I'm about to play y'all is true, this changes everything. Let's play it. And I want everybody to listen. Fair use. I want everybody to listen right now.
And hang out with her as far as...
Yeah. They're talking about that day. I came here and told everybody needs to be looked at that's on that island. I don't care who it is. We need to look at everybody, not just the boys. Everybody. Tatum said something in this interview, and I'm going to let you hear him say it. Tatum told Chris Cuomo that Katie needs to do an interview because now Katie has to confirm or dispute this. There is no other way. Katie has to confirm or dispute what Tatum said about her. Tatum said today in the interview with Chris Cuomo that Katie witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. Game over. And I'm going to play it to you right now. Katie has to come out and do an interview. When I saw Nancy Grace put that on the post, I said something about Katie the other day. Everybody's in the chat room. You know when I said, bro, we need to look at all these people that was around Nolan. Everybody needs to be questioned. I'm not saying any of these people are guilty of murder or anything, but everybody needs to be questioned. And I said, bro, y'all have given all these other people a complete pass. Y'all ain't even questioning these people hard. Everybody needs to be questioned with a hardcore. When Nancy Grace said Katie, I said, hold on. Everybody's been out here talking except for Katie. The parents, y'all been criticizing the boys. The boys have been out here standing. The boys been getting cooked, but they've been standing out here, standing tall on their shit. The investigators, we know they're not going to talk to nobody. Katie. Tatum said that Katie said that she witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. I'm going to play it right now. I found it. Let's go. Hold on.
They have been. When the last time you saw Nolan? Where's no? Do you know who he's with? What did he get on another boat? They asking her all these questions. They're trying to find out. Does anybody know where Nolan is at? And what he told me back with is like they don't have any contact with Nolan. He doesn't have his phone, so they can't call Nolan. They're contacting friends. They're asking the girl Katie, which he showed me the text messages from Katie. I didn't want to publish them without actually talking to her, interviewing her to give her context.
Yeah, I know that was a concern of yours. Yeah, that you wanted to talk to her because.
But I see her text messages, them asking her, when the last time you saw Nolan? Where's no? Do you know who he's with? What did he get on another boat? They asking her all these questions. They're trying to find out. Does anybody know where Nolan is at? And what he told me in the interview is that people, they drown out there.
Hold on, y'all. B. Will, you're given a pass. Nobody gets a pass. Nolan Wells is not alive. Nobody gets a pass. Everybody gets looked at with a fine-tooth comb. Everybody. Nobody gets a pass. You guys have only focused on 4 or 5 boys. There are thousands of other people that's out there. But listen. See, Katie, in my opinion, has to come out and answer this now. Because listen to what I'm going to play for you right now.
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from that nobody knows where he's at, right? None of the friends that they came back with, it's like they don't have any contact with Nolan. He doesn't have his phone, so they can't call Nolan. They're contacting friends. They're asking the girl Katie, which he showed me the text messages from Katie. I didn't want to publish them without actually talking to her, interviewing her to give her context.
Yeah, I know that was a concern of yours. Yeah, that you wanted to talk to her because.
But I see her text messages, them asking her, when the last time you saw Nolan? Where's no? Do you know who he's with? What did he get on another boat? They asking her all these questions. They're trying to find out. Does anybody know where Nolan is at? And what he told me in the interview is that people, they drown out there. People die out there on that island. So there was a slight concern, but he did tell me that he thought Nolan may have been just couch surfing, hanging out with some girl or something of that nature.
Listen.
And may have not, wanted to respond the next day. But he said he did not want to. He better be safe than sorry because that's his friend. And he couldn't live with himself if something had happened and he never did anything.
From your read on the text, was Katie forthcoming and helpful?
Listen.
Yeah, it appears she was forthcoming. It appeared that she had gaps in her memory. Obviously, these kids out here having a good time. So I think she didn't remember everything as clear. But she did say a few things that I think gives some idea of whether the boys were telling the truth. Because you got to think, I'm looking at a text message where they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. And they're asking her questions and she's giving them responses with somebody she don't know and they don't know her. So it's not coerced. And she said that she heard them yell, Nolan, get on the boat. She said Nolan did not get on the boat.
Game over. Game over. Somebody get Katie on line 1. Somebody get Katie on line 1. I'm going to say this again. It don't matter what you think about Tatum. It don't matter what you think about Tatum. What Tatum just said changes everything. Somebody get Katie on line 1. It don't matter what you think about Tatum. Let me explain this again for you guys who are not thinking properly. Even if you think Tatum just lied, there's only one person that can prove that or not. Katie. If Katie comes out and Katie says she needs to be questioned. See, once again, look at this, y'all. Look at this, y'all. They're not even questioning. They're not even questioning. They're just saying, I don't believe that. What do you mean you don't believe that? I don't believe nothing. Nothing. The hell is wrong with you? She got to come out and say that Tatum is lying. Katie has to come out and say that Tatum is lying or that she witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. If Katie I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Everybody listen to this video. Katie needs to be interviewed. She needs to be interviewed. Katie can change the entire trajectory of this case. If Katie comes out and says that Tatum is lying, he's finished. He's totally finished. If Katie comes out and says, no, I saw Nolan Wells not get on the boat at 4:30, game over. This is why you listen to every single word. Tatum said that Katie told them that she witnessed, but this ain't it though. This ain't it though. Smash the like button, share this video. I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be doing this shit. I told y'all, you all looking at 4 or 5 people, and every last one of you, I bet my bottom dollar you're gonna be wrong. I'm not saying that Katie did it, but I'm saying this. Katie needs to be questioned right now to find out, for the love of this case, did she see Nolan Wells reject and refuse to get on the boat? You can't say no before you hear Katie say something. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of what he said next. That I'm going to play you in just a second. Once again, see, you're missing a point. Black Barbie, everybody's missing a point. You're missing a point. You don't have to believe what Tatum said. Katie has to come out. Katie has to come out. Katie cannot be quiet if she wants to help this trend. Truly. Everything is riding on this. Let me repeat, y'all. Everything is riding on this. In my opinion, Katie should come out and answer what Tatum said. Did Tatum tell the truth? That she said, because once again, Tatum said he saw the messages. He says that Katie witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. And then everybody's story's been that Katie said that Nolan was going back with the boys, but no. Tatum say that he saw messages and that Katie said that Nolan refused to get on that boat at 4:30. And he also said that other people on the island saw Nolan with a girl, but they didn't know who Katie was, so they couldn't confirm if it was Katie or not. The question needs to be asked to those people. Whoever those people Tatum says they are, they need to be found and they need to be asked. It needs to be a lineup put up. And they need to be asked, what girl did they see with Nolan Wells? That right there will change this entire case. I listen to everything. And to the person who says she doesn't know anything, everybody owes somebody. Everybody. You got a dead boy. Everybody. What's wrong with you? You have set your ass in this chat room. Trust nobody. What does Stone Cold Steve Austin always say? DTA. Don't trust anybody. Ticket don't trust nobody. That's why when everybody's saying, oh, it's just these guys. No, I don't trust any of them people out on the island. I need to see everything. Don't show me one part. Show me the whole picture. Auntie's table. You ain't going to be saying I need medicine after you find out that I'm right. I don't trust anybody. See, let me tell you something. When you ask Ticket, why you don't trust anybody? I'm going to give you a couple names. One of them is Steve Air McNair. You do the research, ma'am. Former quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. You know Air McNair, ma'am? You don't have to believe it. Once again, I'm going to say this again. This is not to cast any aspersions on Katie. Katie should come out and do an interview. She should come out and do an interview. And Katie should be asked about what she went. Think about this. She's been able to not say nothing. And everybody on the internet gave her a pass. Just scoop. Nope. Katie should do an interview. And Katie should be asked. Let me play it again for you. And I'm going to play it through. Tatum has put it all on the line right here. Tatum says that Katie is the eyewitness that saw Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. If Tatum is lying, his entire career is over with. If Tatum is telling the truth, this changes everything. Let me play it again. Let's play that part again. This is why you never overlook anybody in a case. And in a case when you're investigating a death, you don't overlook anybody. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I don't trust nobody. Nigga, I sleep with one eye open. I don't care how good she look. I sleep with one eye open, nigga. Let me play this. Wind it a little bit right there.
Thing I would do is go up to her and say, "Where's my boy?" Now, failing that, it's, well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from.
Hold on, get this shit off my screen.
So first thing I would do is go up to her and say, "Where's my boy?" Now, failing that, it's, well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from.
We have got to the.
Now listen.
So first thing I would do is go up to her and say,
me the text message.
So first thing I would do is go up to her and say, "Where's my boy?" Now, failing that, it's, Well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it and me the text messages from Katie, I didn't want to publish them without actually talking to her, interviewing her to give her context.
Yeah, I know that
text.
was a concern of yours,
Yeah,
that you wanted to talk to her because,
but I see her text messages, them asking her, when the last time you saw Nolan? Where's no? Do you know who he's with? What did he get on another boat? They asking her all these questions. They're trying to find out, does anybody know where Nolan is at? And what he told me in the interview is that people, they drown out there. People die out there on that island. So there was a slight concern, but he did tell me that he thought Nolan may have been just couch surfing, hanging out with some girl or something of that nature, and may have not, wanted to respond the next day. But he said he did not want to. He better be safe than sorry because that's his friend. And he couldn't live with himself if something had happened and he never did anything.
From your read on the text, was Katie forthcoming and helpful?
Yeah, it appears she was forthcoming. It appeared that she had gaps in her memory. Obviously, these kids out here having a good time. So I think she didn't remember everything as clear. But she did say a few things that I think gives some idea of whether the boys were telling the truth. Because you got to think, I'm looking at a text message where they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. And they're asking her questions and she's giving them responses with somebody she don't know and they don't know her. So it's not coerced. And she said that she heard them yell, Nolan, get on the boat. She said Nolan did not get on the boat, and Nolan did not get on the boat he came in on, which would have been Wyatt's boat that was getting towed out. But then she goes on to say, she had a gap in her memory and she don't know what happened to Nolan afterwards. She thought he was going to go with his friends, but he never did.
So he didn't stay and hang out with her, as far as you know.
As far as what she said, he didn't. Other people are saying, which they could be conflating her with another girl. I'm not sure. But people are saying closer to around 6, they saw him and another girl.
Not her.
In the water. They don't know. They don't know if it's Katie or not. I don't think.
She got to be questioned. She got to do an interview. It's all on the line. It's all on the wood. See, listen, use y'all's brains. It don't even matter if you think Tatum's telling the truth or not. The fact that Tatum put that out, she has to come out and speak. She has to. She has to come out and say, if Tatum said it's true. But guess what? Nobody's put any pressure for her to say anything. All y'all on the internet who have accused 4 or 5 different boys, you ain't look at nobody else. Everybody told y'all this. Everybody else had smooth sailing. They didn't have no questions asked whatsoever. Tatum is telling y'all right now, and I'm going to say this again. You can get mad as you want at Tatum. The fact that Tatum said that, she got to answer that. Because what if she comes out and says, no, I did see him refuse to get on that boat. Now what are y'all going to say? All y'all that's in here capping, you're going to change immediately. Watch how black folks do, y'all. All these black folks been sitting here, I like Katie. I believe Katie. Ain't heard a word from Katie. I believe Katie. I like Katie. As soon as Katie's asked a question, and if she come out here and say, no, I saw Nolan refuse to get on that boat, and he didn't get on the boat, they're going to turn on Katie. Watch. They're going to be doing, they going to all do all this shit. All the whole protection program is going to end. I guarantee you can bet your bottom dollar if I'm around. You can bet your bottom dollar if I'm around. They in the area. Cause mass hysteria. Listen what I said. You don't have to like Tatum for this. Tatum just put Katie. He just put Katie on the clock. He just put Katie on the clock. Think about this, y'all. How you have an investigation in somebody's death and everybody ain't getting ice grilled? Y'all only want 4 or 5 boys to get questioned. No, everybody need to get questioned that we know has something or was around in this case. Think about what I just said. Everybody need to get that same smoke that Nancy Grace gave to the lawyers for them boys. They all need to get that same smoke, them same type of questioning. See, y'all want to have a protection program because of who you like. I don't give a fuck about who you like. This ain't about who you like. This is about the truth and finding out what happened to Nolan Wells. See, Tatum says that Katie, once again, he's not repeating that. He said, listen to what he said. Listen to what he said. This is why, once again, People, your mind has to be up to comprehend. Forget whether you think Tatum is lying or not. Forget that. Katie's got to come out and answer that. Because if you think Tatum is lying, and then Katie comes out and says, no, I did say that. He refused to get on the boat. That changes everything. That changes it. But if Katie's so open like y'all all say she is, shouldn't she be willing to go do an interview and help the family answer these questions? Because you know what else I found out, y'all? He revealed that they were all supposed to go back on the mainland and have a party that night and continue to party. And guess who was there? He said Katie was there. How did they get Katie's number? What is her link to that group? Listen to what I said to you, Eddie, because the truth need to be told, sucker. And I'm willing to get the truth by any means necessary, boy. The hell wrong with you? Don't nobody get a pass in this investigation. Nobody. Tatum I'm going to say it again. Tatum just opened the door. Guess what, y'all? Let's see how many people keep that same energy and want to ask Katie, did she see Nolan Wells? All I got for Katie is a couple questions. Did you see Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat at 4:30? If Katie comes out, listen to everybody in the comment section right now. If you would believe Katie's story, press 1 in the comment section. If you would not believe whatever Katie's story is, press 2. I want to see it right now. I want to see right now. If you would believe whatever Katie's story is, press 1. If you would not believe off the rip whatever Katie's story is, press 2. I want to show y'all some in the comment section right now. Because all the boys, y'all don't believe none of them boys. They all lying. Everybody else get a pass. See, now everybody else is saying, nah, I don't believe her story. So let me ask you a question. Why do you believe her now? See, y'all took the part when y'all heard that she said that I thought Nolan was going back with them. And people say Katie took a stress test. Didn't Tatum say all the boys took a stress test and we found out that they didn't? Once again, I don't give a damn if Katie take her ass over there to Nancy Grace. Because I know how Nancy Grace won't ask them questions. Once again, you would believe her, right? So if she came out and said that, no, I saw, because check this out, y'all. I want to ask y'all a question. I want to ask everybody listening to this video a question. Has anybody seen Katie do an interview publicly yet? Has anybody seen it? I need to know in the comment section. Somebody please tell me. I'm asking y'all this. Katie McCormick has not done any interviews yet at all. She's a key piece. Why haven't she been interviewed? When Nancy Grace said what she said in her comment, it made me think. I just sat here and I just thought about it for like almost 5 or 6 hours. I said, well, hold on. We know why the investigators are not doing interviews. The boys, they came out, they've been doing interviews. Listen now. Right? The boy don't came out, they don't did interviews. For the most part. The parents don't came out, spoke to the public. Katie's a key figure in all of this situation because she's a key person. And I'm not saying that she is a suspect. But I'm saying that she definitely is a witness that day on the island to whether Nolan Wells was present on that island or not. Brandon Tatum put everything on the line right here. Brandon Tatum said that Katie said that she witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. Katie needs to be interviewed publicly. So, because can't nobody put words in Katie's mouth. All y'all have heard is he said, she said when it come to Katie. Oh, well, we heard Katie said that she saw. No. I don't give a fuck about no. He here say she said. I want to hear her say it in public. Did she saying that, or is she saying what Tatum said? Let's play what Tatum said again. Let's play what Tatum said again. I told y'all I don't miss nothing. I'm the best there is, the best there is, the best there ever will be. Come to this shit. Play it again. Play this shit again.
They're getting information because that's his friend, and he couldn't live with himself if something had happened and he never did anything.
From your read on the text, was Katie forthcoming and helpful?
Yeah, it appears she was forthcoming. It appeared that she had gaps in her memory. Obviously, these kids out here having a good time, so I think she didn't remember everything as clear. But she did say a few things that I think gives some idea of whether the boys were telling the truth. Because you got to think, I'm looking at a text message where they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. And they're asking her questions and she's giving them responses with somebody she don't know and they don't know her, so it's not coerced. And she said that she heard them yell, Nolan, get on the boat. She said Nolan did not get on the boat, and Nolan did not get on the boat he came in on, which would have been Wyatt's boat that was getting towed out. But then she goes on to say, she had a gap in her memory and she don't know what happened to Nolan afterwards. She thought he was going to go with his friends, but he never.
Now, if he got that on text messages, whoa, if he got that on text messages, whoa, we styling and profiling, baby. If Tatum has that, listen now, he said he saw these text messages. If Tatum has that on text message from her number, we styling and profiling. If Tatum has that on text message, this is why I told y'all Tatum should be subpoenaed immediately and forced to give up all the information he has. Everybody on the internet should force Tatum to release those text messages. Not showing Katie's number, but release the messages. Tatum says he has all those messages. Tatum needs to release the messages. Do the cops have those messages? Let me say this to y'all again. Y'all keep talking about the boys. No, I don't want to hear that. Once again, because what Tatum did right here, this is the granddaddy of them all. This is the granddaddy of them all. If he has copies of these messages, like he says he does, and they can trace this and say that that's Katie's phone, game over. That changes everything. That changes the entire case. Think about this. You ever watch Matlock, you guys? When I grew up, I watched Matlock all the time. I grew up loving Law, Perry Mason, Matlock especially. I want to say something to everybody listening to this video. You miss something, Ticket, you watching Matlock? Yeah, I love Matlock. That's what actually got me into what I studied in college and everything I was doing, right? So, but I want to say this to y'all, right? Remember on Matlock, most of the time, the first person you thought was guilty, it wasn't them in the end. Remember how they always set you up? You would think, oh, that person looked guilty. Got to be guilty. And then as you get through the episode, and Matlock starts to investigate everybody else. He might have 3 or 4 people that you think are suspects. You might have already picked out in your mind who you think it is at the very beginning of the show. But by the end of the show, most of the time, 75% of the time, you were like, wow, I didn't know that. This is the reason why when you have an investigation, you never put all your eggs in one basket. Katie needs to do an interview immediately. if the police have evidence that Katie is on text messages telling the boys that she saw Nolan refuse to get on the boat, game over. Game, set, match. She needs to be interviewed immediately, because this right here, out of everything y'all have heard, if Tatum is lying about this, it's over. It's over. He just said, once again, that let me play this again for y'all. This is, and you can say, oh, I hate Tatum. He a lie, he a capper. Okay, cool. Now let's hear Katie. And guess what? Not let's just hear Katie. Let's ask for transparency. Let's tell Katie, show her text messages that night. Is everybody in agreement with that in the comment section? If you're not in agreement with that, then you're not on the search for the truth. You've already had your mind made up. You're not in the search for the truth. You don't want to know the truth. I was always taught that the truth will set you free and it will keep you free. And when you search for the truth, you seek and you shall find. See, I'm going to play this again. Because if Tatum said that, Katie can sue Tatum and take him for everything he has for lying. Because that means Tatum would have lied on a private citizen, which is easy defamation per se. And she can take everything Tatum's got. This is why I told y'all it didn't matter what you thought about what Tatum said. Because either way, if she shows those text messages and those text messages say what Tatum is saying, only one person can be lying and one person telling the truth. There can be only one. Play that again. Play it again. Play it again for everybody listening. Play it again for the whole world. We got the whole world. Play it again.
Questions, she's giving them responses with somebody she don't know and they don't know her, so it's not coerced. And she said that she heard them yell, Nolan, get on the boat. She said Nolan did not get on the boat, and Nolan did not get on the boat he came in on, which would have been Wyatt's boat that was getting towed out. But then she goes on to say, she had a gap in her memory and she don't know what happened to Nolan afterwards. She thought.
To the woman who said I'm wrong, bro, no, I'm not. You're not using your mind. Once again, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Vicky, it ain't no secret. I'm trying. Vicky, let me tell you something, baby. The one thing you got to learn about Ticket, I think, on a whole different level, baby. I'm not wrong. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not wrong. I'm not saying Katie did. See, that's your problem. You don't comprehend. I said that the fact that Tatum said that he had text messages where Katie was texting the boys and she was saying that she saw Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat and that she also stated that she had gaps in her memory. The fact that Tatum said that forces Katie to have to come out to the public, reveal her phone, and let's see if Tatum is lying or not. Because if Tatum is lying on Katie, Katie is a private citizen. And Katie can end Tatum and sue him for everything he has. And he is finished, because that is defamation per se. Because what you're doing is you are misrepresenting and lying on a private citizen. And that is easy work all day long. And if he says he has a text, and she should not be scared to come out, because the truth will always set you free. And if you did nothing wrong, you should be able to come out, tell the public what happened, and show your messages. I wouldn't give a damn if she did it with Nancy Grace. Just show the messages. Prove to us. Because if it was me, I would ask Katie a few questions. How did the boys get your number? Who were you linked to in that group, because Tatum said that you were back and they were supposed to have another party when y'all got back to the island and you showed up, but Nolan didn't. And then if the text messages are true, wouldn't those text messages confirm whether or not she said those things to the boys? And then if they're texts that are deleted, the forensic specialist can find those because the boys got the other half. And all they have to do is link them to her number. Play it again. Play it again. And to the people who say Katie's lawyer won't let her speak, that should tell y'all something. Because when you have nothing to hide and everybody's already saying your name, why not speak up for a brother that you may have been one of the last people to see alive? That's if you really care about helping with this case. You see Nolan Wells' parents, you see the pain, you see the hurt, right? And think about one other thing, y'all. Here's another question I have that nobody's asking. And people are leaving, but they don't think about what I'm saying. I think 20 steps ahead of everybody. What's the first thing that happens when you holler at a girl? You know the first thing that happens when you holler at a girl? I'm going to tell everybody in this comment section. Do you know the first thing that happens when you holler at a girl? When you holler at a girl, the first thing you ask is for what? What's the first thing you want to get? Now, let's go back to the phone because I'm going to get surgical with this thing now. I'm about to operate. Nolan Wells' parents still have the phone. Nolan Wells' mother said it seemed like some things were deleted from that phone. That's what the mother said. We don't know if that's true or not. But you know what I would love to know? Think about this. If Nolan and Katie were kicking it out there on the island, and like Tatum said that Katie went back because they were supposed to have another party on the mainland, and Katie went back to where they were supposed to have the party. If Katie doesn't know anything happened to Nolan, wouldn't there be missed messages that may have been in Nolan's phone from Katie? Hi, this is Katie. I'm just writing you. I'm going to be at this party tonight where you guys are at. Oh, no, they didn't want to say my life is written. The ice, the women, the life I'm living. Oh, that phone is everything. Because now once you get back to the mainland and you got connection, oh, we're going to link up later on tonight at the party. So if you don't know anything happened to Nolan, Nolan, what's up? Where you at? Right? Because Katie didn't know the friends. She wouldn't know that the friends had Nolan's phone, would she? Unless he told her, hey, I ain't got my phone. Send me a message and I'm going to hit you when I get back. So if she didn't know that he didn't get back, maybe when she got back, you don't think she might have hit him up? Now listen to what Tatum says next, because Tatum says that they went back to the island and she showed up at the after party. Listen.
Very obvious. Very obvious. You know that or something of that nature with another girl. I'm not sure. But people are saying closer to around 6, they saw him and another girl.
Not her.
In the water. They don't know. They don't know if it's Katie or not. I don't think the people who saw him knew who he was with, but he was with a girl. I assumed that it was Katie, but Katie is saying she wasn't with him. So one or two things could be true. Either that was her, she either don't remember or she don't want to be the last person seen with him, or it was another person in altogether that nobody has been able to identify yet.
And again, context, this isn't just the two of them alone in a remote island. There were still a ton of people around.
When I look at pictures of that day, pictures that have been shared with us, pictures from people that did a flyover, it appeared that there was hundreds of people out there.
Right.
Now, there are pockets where there's boat clusters, and then there's areas where there's not clusters. So you could probably get to a spot where there's not as dense of a group of people. But from my understanding and what I've seen, it seemed like that place was packed with people. I mean, they told me it was thousands of people there, and there was hundreds of boats scattered throughout the almost 11 miles of the island. So there was tons of people. So in my estimation, they had been either close to other people, unless they snuck off in a place where they were a little more isolated. But my question that I still have is that I'm questioning, how did somebody not see what happened here? I think there's a possibility that things could have happened and nobody saw. That is a possibility. But with all those people out there, it makes me wonder, did somebody see something and they're afraid to say something?
Somebody, or have her, because.
But I see her text messaging them asking her when they left. So he said he wanted to call his mom before he called the Coast Guard. And he wanted to call her first and get her permission. And that's what he explained to me. And and like I said, he shared the text messages. So I think it was like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. on the 4th.
How do you understand the leap from curiosity to such deep concern? Because, all right, so I thought you were with her. You're not there. So first thing I would do is go up to her and say, where's my boy? Now, failing that, it's, well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from that nobody knows where he's at, right? None of the friends that they came back with, it's like they don't have any contact with Nolan. He doesn't have his phone, so they can't call Nolan. They're contacting friends. They're asking the girl, Katie, which he showed me the text messages from Katie. I didn't want to publish them without actually talking to her, interviewing her to give her context.
Yeah, I know that was a concern of yours, that you wanted to talk to her because.
But
once again, so he's saying
them asking.
He's saying he wanted to talk to Katie before he published the messages. I wonder why Tatum hasn't been able to get Katie on. I wonder why nobody's been able to get Katie on. I believe, if you believe in the comment section tonight that Katie should come forward and do an interview, press 1. If you don't believe that Katie should do an interview, even though she was one of the potentially last people to see Nolan Wells alive that day, press 2. If you want to see it, press 1. I want to see it. I want to see her interviewed, just like I want to see everybody else that we can find interviewed. You got to turn over every single rock. And I'm not saying that she's guilty or that she did something. I'm saying she needs to answer for what Tatum said. Tatum says that he did not want to publish her messages. Now think about this. Tatum is willing to talk all this shit about everybody else on the Wells side. But for some reason, he didn't want to post Katie messages. No, post them shits, nigga. You an ex-cop. All you got to do is X out her number. If her number's up there, and post them damn messages. You want the truth, right? You want the truth, right? That's a conflict of story, what you saying, Tatum. That's a conflict of story.
The leap from curiosity to such deep concern because, all right, so I thought you were with her. You're not there. So first thing I would do is go up to her and say, where's my boy? Now, failing that, it's, well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry.
No. You're wrong to the person in the comment section. I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. You're wrong. You said, remember, she's white. He's not doing that. No, that's the reason why he is doing that. You're wrong. Why you think he interviewed all the white boys? You're wrong. Kratina Clark, you're dead wrong. In fact, I'm willing to bet everything I have that Tatum has tried everything to interview Katie. Anybody want to make that bet? Anybody want to make a bet that if anybody asked Tatum, did he try to interview Katie? He went to Mississippi multiple times. I promise you, he tried to interview that girl. You think he didn't try to interview that girl? Your question should be, Katie has not been accused of anything by anybody in this case. Why wouldn't she just come out and tell everybody what happened from her perspective that day? She has to now, because Tatum has come out and said that Katie is a witness, eyewitness, and that Katie said herself that she saw Nolan Wells refuse to get on that boat. If Katie comes out and to the person says, you see the messages, it doesn't matter if I've seen the messages. Here's why. He said it. He said he saw him. So here's why that matters. It matters that he said he saw him, because if Tatum says he saw the messages, then all we have to do is ask Katie, is it true or is it false, the messages? If Katie says that the messages and that is not true, and she shows her messages and Tatum is lying, Tatum is finished. And Katie can sue Tatum for slander and lying on a private citizen. But if Tatum is telling the truth, and he does have those messages, because remember, Tatum said that he tried to get in contact with Katie to get her permission to publish those messages. So Tatum, he had to have a line to Katie. You know why? Because the boys had Katie's number. Ding, 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 ding. The boys had Katie's number, according to Tatum. And the boys were texting with Katie. So your question should be, how did those other boys get Katie's number if nobody knew who Katie was? How did Katie allegedly end up at the same after party as those boys? Until the people say Tatum is not enough, he's a liar. Nah, this doesn't matter. This is the point you're not understanding. You're missing the whole point, Lebowski. The whole point is that Katie has to come out and clear this up. Katie has to come out and say whether or not what he said was true or was a lie, because he said he tried to contact Katie. Now, what if he has proof he tried to contact Katie and get permission from Katie to publish those messages? What are you going to say? What are you going to say? And everybody says Tatum should have muddied the water. Nah, he can't keep doing that. No. Mm-mm. Nope. 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 See, I'm going to say it to y'all once again. Why are people afraid to ask Katie questions? I'm not saying, hey, man, threaten Katie. And I don't condone any of that. I'm saying Tatum has come out and said that Katie is a witness, eyewitness to Nolan Wells not being on that boat. If Katie has not been down to the police station, which I don't know if she hasn't, but she should have been down there and asked whether or not she's seen, because check this out. We don't know if she's been asked. What if it comes out in the grand jury report that Katie was one of the witnesses that saw Nolan not get on the boat? Oh, y'all gonna hate Katie. Y'all gonna hate Katie. That shit's gonna come out in the grand jury report. When they put out the grand jury report, it's gonna come out what Katie said in her statements. And if Katie's an eyewitness that Nolan didn't get on that boat, oh, y'all are gonna despise Katie. Yeah. Because that would help get the boys an alibi. Right? Peep game now. Tatum is saying, hey, man, I even tried to contact her to ask her for permission to release the messages. Tatum needs to be pushed harder on that. Ben Crump parents, are y'all listening? Are y'all listening? Once again, you keep talking about the audio. The raw audio doesn't mean anything. Ben Crump has already let you know today. The raw audio doesn't mean shit. He doesn't have anything. His people inspected the audio, the forensic specialist, and didn't find shit from the full audio. That audio don't mean a fucking thing. I told you, the audio don't mean that the paper, toilet paper you wipe your you know what with. That the enhanced audio don't mean nothing, because that's not even the full audio. Crump has nothing. That's why he's begging the FBI to get involved. When Crump comes out and has to beg Trump's FBI to get involved, you already know he ain't got nothing. Use your brain, sucker. When Crump has to come out and beg Donald Trump's FBI, who you know he don't like, to get involved, well, and to the person who says the boat compartment, there was no boat compartment on that boat. That boat was too small. That boat wasn't even supposed to have but 3 people on it. So you're wrong. That boat didn't have a compartment down low. You're wrong about that. Try to tell y'all this. You better listen to your boy. To the person who said Tatum lied several times already, well, that's the people on the internet. You guys are missing the point. Once again, everybody's in here is missing the point. You're missing the point. The point is that Tatum put this girl on the docket. She has to come out and speak to what Tatum said. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Katie has to come out and state whether or not she told any of these boys in the messages that she witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. She also has to come out and speak about what her connection is outside of Nolan Wells and how these boys got her number. Somebody would have had to know somebody would have had to know somebody. To the person who said he's not showing his hand, go sit down and shut the F up. He has no hand, asshole light. This is the reason why he's begging Donald Trump's FBI to get involved, fool. Are you out your mind? They're literally begging for answers. They have nothing. What the hell is wrong with you? They're getting ready to turn in the report to the grand jury. This is the reason why Ben Crump's come down here and made his plea. Because he knows they're getting ready to send whatever information they've got. They're going to pack this shit up and send it to the grand jury, fool. If he had anything, he would have stood on it today. This is the reason why he came out and he said, we need to get the FBI involved. We need them to take over because they're already involved, but he said he wants them to take over. You can dismiss the audio because it can't be authenticated, and Ben Crump couldn't authenticate it with his forensic experts. Why do you guys not want to listen to me? And now y'all gonna look stupid as fuck. I swear to God, anybody that's listening, please, the next person that interviews Ben Crump, ask Ben Crump about the audio, please. So all these fools can sit down and shut the F up. And when you ask him about the audio, please ask him, say, Ben, when your forensic experts analyze the audio, could they authenticate the raw CTO audio? And see what he say. See what he say. He rolled craps. He has nothing. Ben Crump, he's about to crap out, man. I've watched Ben Crump for years. I know how he roll. He got something. He bringing that shit to the forefront. He has nothing. The only thing they have left is that phone. And I told y'all tonight, that's why you hold on to that phone. But that phone, see, that phone, we're going to find out a lot. We're going to find out. This is the reason why we're going to find out a lot about Nolan Wells' phone. Because everybody on the outside didn't know about Nolan's phone not being with him. So we're going to find out all the people that was trying to call Nolan, that may have been worried about Nolan, sending messages to Nolan. Nolan, where you at, man? What's up, man? Hey, Nolan, where you at? This kind of would show you the people that may not have had anything to do with this situation. See, here's my point. If Katie was supposed to get back up with Nolan and they had this after party, don't you think Katie would have hit up Nolan when she got back to the mainland? Hey, Nolan, what's up? Where you at? That's if she didn't think anything of it. She thought he was coming back. Wouldn't it be strange if she didn't send any messages to Nolan at all? That whole time from when she got back? See, we need to ask Katie a few questions. First question I would ask Katie is, Katie, did you see Nolan refuse to get on the boat and not get on the boat at 4:30? That's one. Two, how long did you spend with Nolan Wells on the island after he refused to get on the boat? Three, what time did you leave the island? Four, who did you leave the island with on what boat? Five, who picked you up when you came to the mainland? Six, did you message Nolan Wells or any of his friends after you returned to the mainland? Seven, let's rewind back to when you were on the island. Did you see Nolan Wells get into any kind of controversy or argument with anybody? Eight. Have you heard any rumors surrounding Nolan Wells? 9. When Nolan was with you, did he have sandals, glasses, a red beaded necklace? Come on now. And to the person who said you want him to be killed, I'm not saying I want him to be killed. I want the truth to find out what happened to him. I'm not even talking about a murder. I'm talking about an investigation. And to the person who said the family deleted stuff, the family can't delete stuff because they'll be caught. Forensics can catch anything you do to a cell phone. Doesn't matter if you delete it or not. Forensic, once they open the phone, they can catch everything happened to the phone. There's nothing they can't catch. Once a forensic expert open your phone and put that software on your phone, they find everything that happened to the phone. What time it was open, what time it was closed, if any message was deleted, what time the message was deleted, who tried to hack the message, who tried to hack the phone, if anybody tried to use the screen, the facial recognition, they find everything. Once again, I trust nobody. I trust nobody. And this is the reason why Katie needs to be asked. See, everybody gonna come to the comment section. Oh, Tatum's a liar. I don't give a fuck about Tatum being a liar. I want to know, did Katie say in a text message or any message, verbal or text, that she witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat at 4:30? If Katie says that, that changes everything. Change everything. And that would put Tatum all the way out of here if he lied. And if she can prove he lied. Because Tatum says he has text messages. So that's why I said Tatum should be subpoenaed and forced to give up his information. Right? The Wells family should report Tatum and force him, if he hasn't already given up all this information, to give all this information up to the FBI into the local authorities. Because what he said in this video tonight changed everything. It changes everything. Because if Katie saw Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat at 4:30, that changes everything about what everybody said about Katie to this day. And once again, this is not about whether Tatum is a liar or lying or not. This is about, we need to hear from Katie. We need to hear from Katie. And guess what? We need to hear from Katie because if Katie, once again, To the person who says, my nigga, why wouldn't people turn on Katie if they find out new information? I didn't say that. You're not listening to what I'm saying, brother. I don't sound dumb. You sound dumb because you can't comprehend. Your name is Lamar Lee, and you look like one of them. You look like the dusty ass skinny nigga from Boys and Men. Nigga, sit your ass down somewhere, bro. This nigga got on a Christmas suit with a boot. Sit your ass down somewhere, dog. Look at you, man. This nigga got the Steve Urkel pants on. Hi, Laura. Got any cheese? Ass nigga. So, as I was saying before I rudely got interrupted by somebody who can't think. Y'all see this man got his pants jacked all the way up to his belly button. Look at it. The hell? You get some circulation around that muff. The hell wrong with you, boy? Although we go till the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's unnatural, ass nigga. Get your ass down playing with me, boy. The hell you coming here running your mouth for? So, like I was saying to y'all, right? Yeah, old Motown Philly ass nigga coming in here running his mouth to me, a big dog. Nigga, need to sit down and shut up. So, like I said before, excuse me, you said I don't know what Trump has. He ain't got shit. That's why he's begging Donald Trump. Anytime somebody comes out here and begs Donald Trump that hates Donald Trump's guts, he ain't got shit. I'm telling you, he ain't got shit. The last thing him and Al Sharpton want to do is ask Donald Trump's administration for anything, boy. You better learn something. If you didn't know, your ass better call somebody, boy. Your ass better call somebody. He ain't got nothing, dog. If he had anything, he'd have put it out there, bro. I'm just being honest with you, man. He ain't got shit. Nigga roll craps, nigga. He ain't got nothing, nigga. I'm being honest with you. See, I don't come on YouTube and tell you a lie. I come on here and tell you the truth. I know how Ben Crumb move. I watched them for years. They are begging Trump's team. This is all Trump's administration. Do you know who do you know who they're begging? Yes, they are. Corliss Williams. Yes, they are, sir. They beg the dude with the cock eyes who run the FBI and Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche is Donald Trump's personal lawyer, nigga. And Cash Patel, the leader of the FBI, is his personal whipping boy. When you gotta beg them to come do an investigation, you gotta beg Donald Trump's people, bro. Sit down and shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm telling you. They don't like when I come in here and tell the truth, but it's the truth, man. The truth will set you free, keep you free at all times. Set you, keep you free. All times. I tell y'all this. They need to know, right? To the person who says that Christine Walmsley, you got that phone and only, yes, she does need to say it. And I'm going to tell you why. You're wrong, Tara Moses. And I love you like another Tara Moses. And you know I do. You're wrong, Tara Moses. Christine has to give up that phone. Because she's the one who came out here and kind of put it out here that she felt like messages were deleted. And this is impeding the investigation. Imagine if she's right. They're impeding all this investigation. The more and more time goes by, it hurts the investigation every day. This is the part you don't understand. This is the part you don't understand. Right? Anything that happened on that phone, they're going to be able to see it once they open the phone. Once that forensic analyst open the phone, he's going to be able to see everything that happened with that phone. Period. It don't matter. You can do whatever you want to do. It don't matter. He can still see it. Right? That phone can be a big key because you could be looking at people who may have messaged Nolan afterwards. And guess what? If anything was deleted after Christine and them got the phone, they're going to get heavy heat. And I'm not saying that they did delete anything. I'm just telling y'all. This is the reason why I hope they open it with everybody there. To the people who say they can't be trusted with the phone alone, well, then you should not even want them to do an investigation. Nobody. Because you can't trust Donald Trump's people. Donald Trump people can't even do the Epstein files. So why would you even call the FBI? That's all Donald Trump's people. Donald Trump appointed all those people. See, this is the part y'all don't understand. You have to understand this. You guys are begging these people to do something, and you can't win this one. I'm going to say it again. Donald Trump's team can't even solve the Epstein files. And they got all of them right in front of their face. Right? Once again, how in the blue hell do you expect them to come here now? Donald Trump's FBI, Todd Blanche and all these people. Say it again. Right? Y'all want me to lie? I don't come here and lie to y'all. I wouldn't trust Donald Trump to tie my shoes. This is just the facts. So why in the hell would I trust his people to come and do an investigation when his defamation lawyer is defending the boys? That don't sound like a conflict of interest to you? All right then, know your role when you're talking to greatness. Know your role when you're talking to greatness. You would have to need a whole new administration to come in with a whole new FBI director. Right? All new leadership. That means Blanche out, Kash Patel out, all these people out. To get the type of investigation they're trying to look for. But y'all want somebody to come in here and lie to y'all. Once again. Right? So I'm telling y'all this again. And we don't know if the cops have already looked at her phone. They could have already looked at her phone and seen all this stuff that Tatum got, that he alleges he has. But she needs to come out and speak to that. Because she's the one person that can end Tatum if he's lying. If she can prove Tatum's lying, she can get Tatum up out of here. Everybody else on YouTube, they just talking. She can get Tatum out of here because she's a private citizen. And if Tatum lied on Katie, Katie can sue Tatum and end him. She can take everything Tatum got because he would have blatantly came on and lied on her. And she's a private citizen. Lied about what? What you mean? If everybody's saying that Tatum is lying about Katie, saying that she saw Nolan refuse to get on the boat at 4:30, don't y'all know how this changes life for Katie? Everybody thinks of Katie differently if Katie comes out and says, yeah, I saw Nolan refuse to get on the boat at 4:30. Now, all these people that have been jockstrap sniffing, they all change. See, that's the part you have to understand and put through your brains. If Katie just comes out and says, listen to what I'm saying to you now. All she got to do is come out and say, yeah, I seen Nolan. He refused to get on the boat at 4:30. Boom. What you think? What you think the general public gonna do? Trying to tell you. Trying to tell you. Trying to tell you. She has to come out and speak. Katie holds the key. She literally holds the key, man. Now listen. If you're a person in that position, does that mean that Katie's guilty of unaliving somebody? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Let me give you an example, right? Let me say something to you, right? I'm gonna tell y'all something. How many times have y'all seen? Let me say this first. I want to say this first for everybody that's listening to this video. I'm not talking about Katie, right? I'm not talking about Katie, right? I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show all of y'all something. I'm going to show all y'all something. And I want y'all to remember this. Let me put this on the screen. This is going to bring back hella memories for everybody. Remember when somebody did an interview with Gayle King, and Gayle King asked, was there wood laid? And somebody said, no, there was never wood laid. Was that true or false? Was that true or false? We all found out that was a lie, right? We all found out when the person said it was no wood that was laid, that was a lie. We found out that there was wood laid, right? So that kind of made you, and why do you think that somebody would not have wanted to indulge that information? To embarrass themselves. So back to what we're talking about right now, right? You might not have had anything to do with any type of death. But if you ain't want nobody to know what you was doing, What do you think happens on the island? A lot of men, a lot of women, a lot of beer. I'm going to speak for me personally. I was that age. I would have been somewhere with a shorty, with a nice looking shorty. You know, I'm just going to say it like that. Right? Now, if she doesn't want everybody in her business and to know what she was doing with me, she might not say nothing. Right? Or she might leave some things out. Right? Once again, doesn't mean that you had a hand in somebody. That's why I said I want to know the witnesses who said they saw Nolan with a girl. Was it that girl? Was it Katie? Did they point out Katie? Because if those witnesses say they saw Nolan later on the island with a girl, and if they point out Katie, well, then that changes everything. Right? Once again, nobody would want to come out in this environment. I'll tell you the truth, man. After they accuse all them boys of murder, nobody would want to come out. But I'm just saying to y'all, I'm saying this to y'all right now. Katie should be questioned. She should go on a show like Nancy Grace, because Nancy Grace is still going to grill her. Nancy Grace is going to ask her all the questions that need to be asked. Trust me. She not going to hit her with no softball. And one of the main questions is, did you see Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat? Like Tatum said. That's exactly what I would say. Tatum said that you were in messages and that you said that you saw Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat. Is that true or false? If she says, I did not see that, and Tatum is lying, she can sue Tatum. Tatum's done. She's a private citizen. She can prove it in court that he blatantly lied. He's toast. She's the one person that could really get Tatum up out of here. But if Tatum's telling the truth, and he really got them text messages, and she did say this changes the whole case. Changes everything. Because now it gives those boys an ironclad alibi. Right? And Now it changes the timeline and changes all of the people that's around. Peep game. So I always wonder why she didn't come out and do an interview. I told y'all, when you do these investigations, man, you can't trust anybody, man. You have to treat everybody as if, and that's what Nancy Grace said. Like, you just can't trust nobody. You have to like really treat everybody as if, like, I don't know you, I don't trust you. I'm not saying you're guilty, but I'm not saying you're innocent either. But she's gonna have to speak up to what Tatum said. Tatum said here with a straight face, with his chest, that this woman in the messages, he says that he has, and he says he asked her permission. He was trying to ask her permission to publish them. Listen again. I know the commercial's gonna come up, but listen.
Curiosity to such deep concern, because I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from.
So first thing I would do is go up to her. Because.
But I see her text message them asking her, when the last time you saw Nolan? Where's no? Do you know who he's with? What did he get on another boat? They asking her all these questions. They're trying to find out, does anybody know where Nolan is at? And what he told me in the interview is that people, they drown out there. People die out there on that island. So there was a slight concern, but he did tell me that he thought Nolan may have been just couch surfing, hanging out with some girl or something of that nature, and may have not, wanted to respond the next day. But he said he did not want to. He better be safe than sorry because that's his friend. And he couldn't live with himself if something had happened and he never did anything.
From your read on the text, was Katie forthcoming and helpful?
Yeah, it appears she was forthcoming. It appeared that she had gaps in her memory. Obviously, these kids out here having a good time. So I think she didn't remember everything as clear. But she did say a few things that I think gives some idea of whether the boys were telling the truth. Because you got to think, I'm looking at a text message where they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. And they're asking her questions and she's giving them responses with somebody she don't know and they don't know her. So it's not coerced. And she said that she heard them yell, Nolan, get on the boat. She said Nolan did not get on the boat, and Nolan did not get on the boat he came in on, which would have been Wyatt's boat that was getting towed out. But then she goes on to say, she had a gap in her memory and she don't know what happened to Nolan afterwards. She thought he was going to go with his friends, but he never did.
So he didn't stay and hang out with her, as far as you know.
As far as what she said, he didn't. Other people are saying, which they could be.
So he's saying that Katie said in the messages that Nolan refused to get on the boat, but he didn't stay with her. That's what he's saying. Katie needs to be questioned. Katie needs to be questioned. She needs to be questioned and asked whether that's true or false. He's saying that Katie said in the messages, and he got the messages. He said he tried to get Katie to ask permission to put out the messages publicly. He says that Katie says she's the boy's alibi. Once again, that Nolan did not get on that boat. He refused to get on the boat. Katie has to come out and speak. She has to come out and speak on this shit. Bro, there is no question she got to come out and speak on this shit, bro. Because she's going to have to say, hey, man, did she send those messages or not? Because Tatum should be forced. Everybody on the internet should be forcing Tatum to release those messages. He should be forced to release those messages. Give these parents answers. Give these parents answers. Give these parents answers. Right? Give them answers. Right? They deserve answers. Right? Once again, I'm asking you guys now. Peep game now. Now, to the brother in the comment section who's saying this stuff about Katie, you're lying. You're lying, brother. You said who was Katie rolling with to the island? You kept talking about. I know you saw the boy's name. You said with a B. Well, basically, this is what it's been reported with Katie. It's been reported that she went to the island as a part of a completely separate group from Nolan Wells and his friends, according to statements made online by her sister. See, I don't want to hear from her sister. I want to hear from her. And y'all giving that shit a pass. Why is Katie not speaking? I don't want to hear from Gracie. I want to hear from Katie. Gracie said that Katie was at the beach celebrating 4th of July with her own circle, which included her brother and his fiance. When the day ended, she claims that Katie also left the island by boat with the same group because she arrived and departed with her family and friends. Her sister clarified that Nolan returned to the mainland with Katie was never an option. But Tatum says something to the standard of they were all going to go to the same after party. So the question is, everybody keeps saying Tatum's a liar. Bro, you're not listening. You said Katie never said that. Have you seen her messages? Katie hasn't said shit to the public. To the person who says this, Tasha Spires. Excuse me, to Shane. I don't know how you pronounce your name. My beautiful sister. Katie hadn't said a word. How can you say something when Katie ain't said nothing in public? Tatum is saying, I got this on messages. That's either true or false. Tatum is saying he got the text messages from her phone. That's true or false. When she's talking to the boys and they're asking her about, and see, that show y'all completely something different, because Tatum should put those messages up there, because if the boys are talking to Katie about where's Nolan after 4:30, that also goes to help the boys' alibi, because that shows the boys didn't know what the hell that was going on. I think Tatum should drop those messages. He should be forced to. Everybody on the internet should put pressure on Tatum to release those messages. Right? Bro, it doesn't matter what Nolan's mom said. I care what them text messages said. I don't care what Christine said, because she was distraught at the time. Christine, when you distraught, you might forget things. You thinking about your son not being here. I want the messages. I want the messages that day from Katie's phone. I want every message from Katie. Or do you not want that, ma'am? Ma'am, do you not want to see every message from Katie's phone that afternoon? I want to see every message from Katie's phone that afternoon, period. There ain't no other question about it. From 3 o'clock on, I want every single message from Katie's phone. This is how you solve cases. This is how you solve deaths and find out what happened. You don't cut corners. Because if Tatum say he got the messages, well, we need to see her phone too. Tatum said he got the messages. He said he even tried to contact her to get her permission to put them out. She got to come out and answer that. She got to come out and say, hey, man, this guy's a liar. I don't have any messages, and then show the messages, and then Tatum's done. I don't want to hear about the boys. You keep talking about the boys. I'm talking about Katie right now. Forget about all them boys. I'm talking about Katie. I don't care about none of those boys. I'm talking about Katie. I don't want to hear nothing from the sister. I don't want to hear nothing from that shit. Why haven't we heard from Katie? Why the sister got to come out and say something? This didn't strike nobody as strange. At least them boys came out and spoke on their own. Katie don't get no pass from me. I'm sorry. She ain't get no hall pass. I don't want to hear from her sister. Her sister wasn't there. She was there. Nothing else to talk about. I want all the messages, and Tatum on the boys' part should release those messages. Everybody on the internet should put pressure on Tatum to release those messages. You know why? Because it will help this investigation. You know why? Because now it will force them to either shut Tatum down for lying, or it will corroborate that we're not getting the whole story. I want to see all Katie's messages. And if she had messages to those boys, how does she get in contact with those boys? What was the link for her to get in contact with these boys that they didn't know each other, right? I'm telling y'all this. To the people who say it's obvious those boys doing damage control, once again, you have to open your mind. You have to open your mind. You're just limiting it to 3 or 4 people. Nope. When there's 1,000 people outside, I'm not limited to 3 or 4 people. I got 1,000 people. We need to, really like that. Really like that. And I'm just telling you right now. There's a reason why Nancy Grace put on there that she wanted to talk to Katie. Nancy Grace, a former prosecutor. She's smart as hell. Read Nancy's questionnaire. Katie's one of the persons. She didn't say Tristan. She didn't say the other black dude. She didn't say somebody else on the island. She said Katie is one of the people that she want to interview. Wonder why? Nancy Grace, a former prosecutor. She know why. She know why. See, I'm going to tell you something. And I don't even like Nancy Grace. But the first thing Nancy Grace would do is Nancy Grace will ask her, well, are you willing to show your phone? Matter of fact, I'm going to show you the look Nancy Grace is going to have when she say that shit. When Nancy Grace said this shit, when she say this shit, I just, because y'all already know, man, I can't stand Nancy Grace. She's one of like most, like, I just when I say I despise a person, I truly despise Nancy Grace, but I can't deny that when Nancy Grace dig in, she does ask great questions. She does ask great questions. Right? But, right? Once she started to get that crazy ass look she got, oh, hell no. Y'all already know what time it is. Once Nancy get to start looking like that, I'm about to show you right now what she gonna look like. When she start looking like she constipated and shit, y'all already know. Nancy get to looking like she's straight constipated out there. I'm talking about like she took like 10 X-Lax pills and got to use the bathroom, but it's live on air. That look. When she started to get to looking like that, that's when you already know. Right here, let me show you. This look right here, y'all. Yeah. Well, are you willing to show your phone? We need to see your phone. Yep. Straight like that. Straight like that. I need to see your phone. Okay, honey. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all think it's a game. I'm dead ass serious. Nancy make any of these people, bro. Nancy need to interview those boys. It should be Nancy interviewing all these people. The way she is, man, I'm trying to tell you this, man. You don't even need Raid or no type of roach spray. Just put Nancy Grace in your house. She'll clear out every roach and rat you got in the house. Once she start talking and giving that look, they all gone. Immediately. Them motherfuckers start hitting the high heels in your house. Gone. You're like, damn, Nancy Grace, she worked better than Raid. I'm telling you this. She get to grilling that girl, asking that girl about the messages, asking that girl, well, what time? Are you sure? Okay. Right? I guarantee y'all Nancy ain't keep a husband. Let me see something. How many times has Nancy Grace been married? Hold on. Hold on. Is she divorced now or still married? Boy, I don't know how he deal with her. I'm telling y'all this, though. Nancy would have wore me sick listening to her in the house all day. Ain't no way in hell. But I'm trying to tell y'all this, right? And you guys, listen to what I'm saying to y'all, man. That girl, all these, they need to be interviewed by Nancy Grace, bro. Nancy Grace is the closest thing you're going to get to a prosecutor that's going to grill them. And I'm talking about the reason why I say that is because they're going to be more comfortable to go Nancy Grace because she's white, but Nancy Grace is going to grill their ass. She's not giving you no softball. That's the one thing she's not doing. I don't even think Nancy Grace likes herself. She's not going to give you no softball. So I believe that girl should go over there because Nancy's going to get all the answers you need. Straight up. She's going to add Nancy. Nancy got more answers than what we've heard from anybody else. She's asked more serious questions, whether you like her or not. And to be honest with y'all, Nancy, to me, she'll get those text messages. And we need to see those text messages. Somebody send this to Nancy Grace. Y'all send this to Nancy and tell Nancy she need to get her hands on that girl, man. And tell her she need to hear what Tatum said to Chris Cuomo. That girl, he alleges she's in the messages saying that she's an eyewitness. Bro, that changes the case. That changes the whole case. Right? Straight up. Right? So this is what I'm telling y'all. Y'all sitting over here letting people off the hook. I'm not letting nobody off the hook, bro. That girl ain't finna get no pay. You think, y'all really think, man, listen, man, bro, I got too many years on this earth, man. Bro, I'm not giving, man, listen, bro. And then her sister came out talking for her when she was the one that was, no, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hey, that's not finna happen. I don't want no statement from your sister. I want to talk to you. Straight up. I want to talk to you. Right? I'm be honest with y'all, man. Y'all, a lot of y'all, again, you guys have just, y'all have focused all y'all attention on one thing. And I'm telling y'all, bro, if this girl comes out and she says, yes, I did say in the text messages that I saw Nolan Wells refuse to get on that boat and he didn't get on that boat at 4:30, that destroys everybody on YouTube. Boy, it's going to be a lot of mad mofos on YouTube. Hey, bro, I can't wait to see that shit, bro. It's going to be a lot of mad mofos on YouTube, boy. Man. Boy, they're going to be some ticked off people on YouTube. Ticked. Peep what I'm telling y'all now. Peep what I'm telling y'all. She put that boy in that island at the 4:30. Boy, the internet going to turn upside down. Watch. All them people that was out here slandering, watch how quick they be trying to make a apology. Shit gonna be too late now. They gonna say, oh, she's in on it. I'm trying to tell y'all this. They gonna turn on that girl like apple turnover, boy. Pete, what I tell y'all this now. Right? No, if she say he didn't get on the boat, that changes everything now. If that's true, that those messages that she sent the boys, and she told them that she witnessed Nolan Wells refuse to get on the boat, but he didn't stay with her. She didn't stay to kick it with her. Right? That says something whole different now. Because if let's say she's telling the truth. Let's say that she did say Nolan didn't get on the boat at 4:30, but she says, hey, he wasn't with me though. Now that changes everything. That puts a whole different situation. A whole different situation on this investigation. Because now you want to know who was the other girl he was with. Because now that opens a whole nother can of worms. Straight up. Peep game now. Snow and Skyami. Snow and Skyami. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Right? Y'all better believe that, man. I'm giving y'all something to think about, man. So it ain't about whether you believe Tatum or like Tatum or not. It's about, do Tatum have those text messages? So now this forces Katie to come out. And she don't want to hear from her sister. Don't want to hear from no cousin. We need to hear from her. Peep game now. We need to hear from her. That's it. That's the main thing now. Let me play what Tatum said again, man. This shit, this changes everything, bro. He puts her as an eyewitness. This changes everything. Let me go back some.
To Warren and maybe other friends that they didn't know where Nolan was.
Well, he explained it thoroughly in the interview, but I'll like summate it real quick.
People should watch the interview.
Yeah.
Brandon Tatum is a very well-known influencer.
To this lady, you keep saying you wouldn't speak in interviews with Tasha. That means that you have something to hide. If you're not willing to speak out when this young boy died and his parents is out here all over the news crying and asking for answers, that tells me I feel like you got something to hide. Why are you covering up for this lady so much? You don't know this girl. You don't know this girl. Why is you covering up for her so much? She need to come out here and speak to the forefront. You got a black man dead. I don't want to hear. I don't give a fuck about what she said to the mama. I can say anything to the mama. She need to come out here and get this interview in the public. She need to be asked about messages, how she knew certain people. We don't know what she said to the mama. That was private. Anything could be said that this, that, no. I want to hear what she say in public. Right? Once again, you sitting over here taking a word for somebody you don't know. Imagine me taking the word somebody I don't know. Talking about she needs to speak to the authorities and she needs to speak to, and the reason why she need to come out here and speak to the public is because the parents are asking. The fuck you talking about the authorities? If the parents are telling you they don't trust the authorities, she need to come out here to the forefront and answer these questions for the whole world. The hell wrong with you? You sitting over here protecting somebody you don't know. No, she need to answer these questions. She don't get no protection plan. She bring her ass on and answer these questions. Imagine. Nah, nobody want to hear all that. We want to hear it to the public. Period. The whole world want to hear this shit. You got all these people that's out here that's worried about this situation, worried and want to find out the truth. If she got any part of the truth, she need to let it be known. Stand up for what's right. This is what you do in life. You stand up for what's right. Period. You don't run and hide from this. You come out and you say, hey, look, I saw him or I didn't see him. That's it. Peep game now. Say it again.
No, why go right to the Coast Guard?
Hold on, let me start this.
A very well-known. No, Why go right to the Coast Guard? A very well-known influencer. You know how to get to his page. The interviews are all there and accessible. But give us the short answer.
I think it was around 10 p.m. And the explanation that he gave me was that Nolan was hanging out with that girl, Katie. So they expected Nolan to be kicking it with her, hitch a ride back on somebody else's boat. They all plan to go to a central location to continue the party. But Nolan is not there. The girl that he was with shows up, but Nolan is not around. So he's now being concerned.
The girl showed up, but Nolan
told me he thought Nolan may have been on somebody's couch or hanging out with somebody else. He said he didn't really know, but he'd rather be safe than sorry. So he said he wanted to call his mom before he called the Coast Guard. And he wanted to call her first and get her permission. And that's what he explained to me. And and like I said, he shared the text messages. So I think it was like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. on the 4th.
How do you understand the leap from curiosity to such deep concern? Because, all right, so I thought you were with her. You're not there. So first thing I would do is go up to her and say, where's my boy? Now, failing that, it's, well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from.
Let me get this off here.
So first thing I would do is go up to her.
That girl, Katie. So they being concerned. He told me he thought Nolan may have been on somebody's couch or hanging out with somebody else. He said he didn't really know, but he'd rather be safe than sorry. So he said he wanted to call his mom before he called the Coast Guard. He wanted to call her first and get her permission. And that's what he explained to me. And and like I said, he shared the text messages. So I think it was like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. on the 4th.
How do you understand the leap from curiosity to such deep concern? Because, all right, so I thought you were with her. You're not there. So first thing I would do is go up to her and say, where's my boy? Now, failing that, it's, well, I wonder where he is. Let's talk to other people who might know. Why go right to the Coast Guard?
Yeah, the way he explained it in the interview is that he'd rather be safe than sorry. He said they started getting information from.
So first thing I would do
back with, it's like drown out there. People die out there on that island. So there was a slight concern, but he did tell me that he thought Nolan may have been just couch surfing, hanging out with some girl or something of that nature, and may have not, wanted to respond the next day. But he said he did not want to. He better be safe than sorry because that's his friend. And he couldn't live with himself if something had happened and he never did anything.
From your read on the text, was Katie forthcoming and helpful?
Yeah, it appears she was forthcoming. It appeared that she had gaps in her memory. Obviously, these kids out here having a good time. So I think she didn't remember everything as clear. But she did say a few things that I think gives some idea of whether the boys were telling the truth. Because you got to think, I'm looking at a text message where they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. And they're asking her questions and she's giving them responses with somebody she don't know and they don't know her. So it's not coerced. And she said that she heard them yell, Nolan, get on the boat. She said Nolan did not get on the boat, and Nolan did not get on the boat he came in on, which would have been Wyatt's boat that was getting towed out. But then she goes on to say, she had a gap in her memory and she don't know what happened to Nolan afterwards. She thought he was going to go with his friends, but he never did.
So he didn't stay and hang out with her as far as you know?
As far as what she said, he didn't. Other people are saying, which they could be conflating her with another girl. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But people are saying closer to around 6, they saw him and another girl.
Not her.
In the water. They don't know. They don't know if it's Katie or not. I don't think the people who saw him knew who he was with, but he was with a girl. I assumed that it was Katie, but Katie is saying she wasn't with him. So one or two things could be true. Either that was her, she either don't remember or she don't want to be the last person seen with him, or it was another person altogether that nobody has been able to identify yet.
And again, context, this isn't just the two of them alone in a remote island. There were still a ton of people around.
When I look at pictures of that day, pictures that have been shared with us, pictures from people that did a flyover, it appeared that there was hundreds of people out there.
Right.
Now, there are pockets where there's boat clusters, and then there's areas where there's not clusters. So you could probably get to a spot where there's not as dense of a group of people. But from my understanding and what I've seen, it seemed like that place was packed with people. I mean, they told me it was thousands of people there, and there was hundreds of boats scattered throughout almost the 11 miles of the island. So there was tons of people. So in my estimation, they had been either close to other people, unless they snuck off in a place where they were a little more isolated. But my question that I still have is that I'm questioning, how did somebody not see what happened here? I think there's a possibility that things could have happened and nobody saw. That is a possibility. But with all those people out there, it makes me wonder, did somebody see something and they're afraid to say something?
Or have they said something to the authorities and they just don't want to keep saying it,
Right,
because they don't want to become part of the mythology that's out there on social media. But, to paraphrase even the parents, saying somebody saw something, unless he went to the island and ran away, and did something to conceal himself, whether he was with a girl or otherwise. Somebody saw something, Brandon.
Yeah, I think at least somebody saw him alive last.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he dashed off, some things that they had made mention was that some people try to, they got to use the restroom. They'll kind of duck off away from people to try to go to the restroom, so they're not urinating in front of everybody, having a good time in the ocean. And so sometimes people do duck off and they go off, and it's a drop off. Like it's a part where you can walk, and then it drops 30 feet. So nobody knows what happened to him, but some of the things that people may consider is that, could he have gone off to use the restroom or something, dropped in the water? From what the boys told me, there's a lot of music playing. It's loud. You can barely hear each other talk if you're in the cluster of boats, because they're playing music loud. And it's like a party.
Mm-hmm.
And so there could have been a possibility that he snuck off, he drowns, nobody hears him because there's a lot of commotion. People are drunk, there's partying going on. Or somebody could have done something to him. And this is what I will say. They interviewed 60 people. All of the boys that I talked to were forthcoming. They have communicated with law enforcement, and they haven't made an arrest yet. That leads me to believe that either this is inconclusive and they don't have enough evidence, or maybe nobody saw anything nefarious, but they may have saw, Nolan go out and drown. And I can't imagine that the information that they have is that Nolan drowned and they won't tell the public. I don't know why they would do that, but I can see it happening because they have to do due diligence and take it to a grand jury.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. I think the answer why is it didn't go well when they came out of the box with a statement.
Yeah.
The prosecutor took it over and said, I'm taking it to the grand jury, which is supposedly what she does.
Now, y'all see this, right? So they're having this whole conversation. Let me
can see it happening because they have to do due diligence and take it to a grand jury.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. I think the answer why is it didn't go well when they came out of the box with a statement.
Yeah.
The prosecutor took it over and said, I'm taking it to the grand jury, which is supposedly what she does. And that's a secret proceeding. And they want to give it all to the grand jury, let them make the determination. So I guess on the political side, she doesn't have to own it the same way, right? It's not her determination. It's not the prosecutor's determination. It's the grand jury's determination, whether there's probable cause here or not. And then they can release the findings. I mean, that's probably the best reason why they're not saying anything in the interim.
And Chris, it's the most appropriate reason. It's just the public don't understand this. They will appreciate us after, right? During the situation, people are very upset because they don't have information. Some categorize it either through ignorance or because they're nefarious. They categorize this as somehow the police are hiding something. This is traditional status quo of what law enforcement does, so they can be methodical and very clear and confident in their rulings and leave no stone unturned. Because if you begin to divulge information, you can mess up a case, and then therefore he'll never get justice, and then the family will be mad at them because they screwed over the case. And this is why they didn't release the autopsy. And this is the reason why I'm very frustrated with Benjamin Crump, because they should have never released the autopsy publicly. This is something that they should have done. I think they should have done it privately without notifying the world, because then everybody else that's potential suspects or somebody that want to be nefarious and hide things wouldn't even know what's going on. Therefore, they can strategically have a second opinion. And then if the state comes out and says something that's not true, they have their ace in the hole. And also, you don't want to put that out there to the public, because then you begin to describe elements of a crime, and therefore, if there's any pending suspects, they can overcome an interview by knowing what the cops know and don't know. And you don't want to do that. That can taint the investigation. I would have, if I was, Benjamin Crump is doing this to highlight the case and to make money. As for the family, I would have suggested that they not make it public. Show the family.
He keeps saying Ben Crump keeps saying Ben Crump doing this to get money. But nigga, you put the boys' interviews in like how many parts? So are you getting money? Fuck out of here with that bullshit, bro.
I'm gonna explain it. He went out on his own and he has no idea what he's even talking about. He can't even pronounce some of the words. And so that was convoluted in and of itself.
Well, the second autopsy was going to be compromised. They collected tissue. They collected and kept parts of the body, which is not unusual in an investigation. So anyone who looked at it second wasn't going to have the same access as the people who looked at it first, and there'd be further decomposition, harder to make a read on different things. So it was going to be highly inconclusive, no matter what. And there are competing agendas, Brandon. I mean, there's no reason to hide from it. You know, I'm watching clips of the mother on Don Lemon's show, and you know, he's pushing on them that, hey, they're saying he was drunk. And they're like, no. He talked to one of his coaches. He wasn't a big drinker. They said he was fine at 2:45 or 3. This stuff about alcohol is just a distraction. I mean, they're competing agendas here.
No, I agree. And an unfortunate thing is that Nolan is not the center of the competing agendas in many cases. Nolan should be the center. We should be talking about and lifting up Nolan's success and everything about his life and celebrating Nolan. That's what we should be talking about. The investigation and all that other stuff that people got going on should be behind the scenes.
Your client was there that day, was not an intimate, was not part of the group that has been framed as being framed meaning pictured with Nolan Wells. He was on the boat. He was heard. He was witnessed assisting his buddies who had a problem with water getting into their boat. They called sea tow during that.
Whoa.
Has been framed as being framed meaning pictured with Nolan Wells. He was on the boat, the audio, and a woman makes the case, and she sounds very well versed in audio editing. She did this, she did that, she did this, she did that. And then with an adjoining transcript, there seems to be a background conversation that is of a completely different tone and tenor than the phone call from Wyatt. Wyatt, as I said, that's how he is. In the background, there seems to be a conversation, according to the transcript, yelling at this guy, Bart, and what happened to Nolan and what's going on. Nolan, wake up, and this and that. It sounds like someone's dead or dying on the boat with them. And it has gone all over the place. It has gone viral. That is the audio that we're talking about. Counsel Russ Latino for Bart Ermiston Jr., who is the Bart, who got on the boat to help them with the draining and towed them to let water come out of the boat. And then they were okay and they canceled the sea tow call. That Bart, who was seen by people on both sides, says no conversation like that took place. Nolan Wells was not on that boat. And he had nothing to do with anything that happened to Nolan Wells, though he knew him and liked him.
Yeah, and Chris, I can add more. I saw the video of them on the boat during the phone call. Now, I presented it in part. It's the one that you see all over TMZ, all over the news. Mm-hmm. It has Officer Tatum on it, and you see a quick glimpse of that boat. Well, I have the full video. And the only reason that I don't want to put the video out and the lawyers are against it, because there's other people that's not involved in this that are featured on the video.
Was Nolan Wells on the boat?
No, he's not on the boat. And the pan, let me tell you, it's interesting, right? These kids, this is my perception for what I see on the boat. They're having a good time. I would argue that some of them are having such a good time that half of the people are concerned and half of the people don't know what's going on. There's two boats. There's the boat that Bart is running to tow, and there's the boat that Warren and them are on. And some people are having such a good time that they're like joking about it. They're not even thinking it is happening. And then you have, you know, Warren's side or Wyatt's side where I can see Wyatt on the phone talking to Cito. Nolan is nowhere to be found. No activity is really going on the other boat.
So you don't see any corresponding activity that would suggest the urgency and the dialogue that is in the transcript of the sweetened audio.
No, there's a girl on that boat that's yelling because she's having a good time and she's screaming and she's talking loud and whatever. And I don't know if that translated to the phone call because she's on the opposite boat. And at one point in the video, the boats are together like this. Because people are trying to get on this boat to the other boat and do all that. And they're all having a good time, if you know what I'm saying. They had a good time out there. So
there is no sign of distress.
No.
There is no kind of frantic or yelling or controversy.
No, it's what the yelling that I hear on the video is people seem to have a good time and they're yelling and saying all kind of crazy. They laugh.
So that, bro, she got to come out and address those messages. She got to show those messages, man. If she had text messages where she said that, and this is not in the aftermath, this is the same day when the boys are trying to ask. If they got text messages that prove that, bro, this changes everything. Change everything. Real talk. If he got text messages to prove, now if he's lying, he's toast. If Tatum is proven to be lying, it's easy to prove it. All you got to do is interview Katie and get her to release those text messages. If not, put pressure on Tatum to release the text messages. Release the text messages. Then that makes everything clearer. Like, share, subscribe. Hey, we always appreciate the support, and if you guys want to do so, you can use the Cash App or PayPal links. They'll be in the description box below this video or pinned at the top of the comments. The top donators will be announced every month. All right, you guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all cop the merch, and make sure that you get the weight loss formula. The links to that will be in the description box below this video. Check out our next video coming up right now.